Hello, it's Teaching Tuesday, and we're going to be going over exercise recommendations based on training intensities. I pre-wrote this to try to save some time so I don't take hour-long videos and you guys actually watching. So there's going to be some calculations. It might seem like it's difficult, but trust me, it's much simpler and it's actually very important and something that you should be keeping track of. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to first figure out your maximum heart rate, which is literally just taking 220 and subtracting your age, okay? I'll take a picture of this too and put it up, but you want to then figure out what your resting heart rate is, which you would just take your two fingers, place it thumb side, hold for 15 seconds, count how many beats, how many times your heart beats, and then just multiply that by 4. I actually had a post a couple weeks ago, so if you did it then you already have this number figured out. From there, you're going to figure out your heart rate reserve, which is literally just going to be taking number 1 and subtracting number 2. So you're going to be taking your maximum heart rate and subtracting your resting heart rate. We're going to be doing an example at the bottom, so you'll kind of see like a real life example. After that, you're going to be taking the number you just found, your heart rate reserve, and you're going to be multiplying it by your training intensity, which again, there's recommendations and guidelines which we'll be using. After that, you'll add back your resting heart rate, and that'll give you your goal heart rate that you should be, or during exercise, okay? So, training intensities. Moderate exercise, the guideline is set to 150 minutes per week, okay? That's 30 minutes a day, 5 days, all right? You could do that, you could split them, it doesn't have to be 30 minutes straight, but you could split it up, 10-minute intervals is the shortest amount of interval that you can do. So moderate exercise, 150 minutes per week, that is 50% to 70% of what your heart rate max is. So the numbers that you figure out, 50 to 70% of that is what moderate exercise is, okay? Vigorous exercise is 75 minutes per week, so half of the recommended minutes per week, and the percentage is 70 to 85%, okay? And same thing with the 10-minute bouts, all right? So for the example, I'm gonna make it very, very simple. I'm gonna use a 20-year-old with a resting heart rate of 50. So 220 minus 20 is 200. That's this person's estimated maximum heart rate, all right? The resting heart rate is 50 because they took it in the morning, which is when you should do it ideally. So their heart rate reserve is 200 minus 50, which is 150. Now let's just use the number on the lower end of each spectrum. So for moderate exercise, we'll use 50%, and for vigorous, we'll use 70%. So 150 times 0.5, 50%, equals 75, and then you add back the resting heart rate, which is 50. So if this person was going to do moderate exercise at 50% for 150 minutes per week, their heart rate during that exercise should be 125 beats per minute. All right. For vigorous exercise, let's just use 70% as the example. 150 times 0.7, 70%, equals 105, and then you add back the resting heart rate, which is 50, and that gives you 155 beats per minute, which again would mean that for 75 minutes that week, they're at 70% of the maximum heart rate. Their heart rate, you want their heart rate to be at 155 beats per minute, okay? This may seem confusing, I promise it's not. The picture, you should be able to go and work with it step by step and figure it out. If you can't, obviously you can reach out to me and I will just give you your age and what your resting heart rate is, and then I'll figure out these numbers and I'll let you know. But it's very, very simple, so please give it a try. So The reason why this is important is because, again, they have recommended guidelines. So if you are not getting at least 150 minutes per week of moderate exercise, or 75 minutes per week of vigorous exercise, or honestly a combination of either, which kind of gets a little confusing, so let's just break them up. You're not capitalizing on the benefits that you could be getting from a health standpoint for exercise. So yes, you're still doing things, but you're not hitting the baseline. With this being said, for weight loss, they recommend you double each number. So that would be 300 minutes per week of moderate exercise and 150 minutes per week of vigorous exercise. Just to give you examples of what these look like, moderate exercise, you would basically be able to have a conversation while you're exercising. You wouldn't be able to sing, but you would be able to have a conversation, okay? And also, you would break a light sweat after about 10 minutes. So that kind of gives you an idea of what moderate exercise is. Examples of that, like brisk walking. Honestly, mowing your lawn is a form of moderate exercise. For vigorous exercise, you would not be able to maintain a conversation. You would not be able to maintain a conversation, and you would be sweating profusely. Okay, jogging and running are examples of that, or biking, especially outside in the heat. It's going to elevate your heart rate. So those are examples. I hope that you all actually go through this and put it into practice, because it'll give you an idea of kind of where you're at with the recommendations for exercise. Again, it's great if you go for a walk every single day, but if you're going for a walk and, again, you're this person and your heart rate's not even getting to 125, and you're not even doing 150 minutes per week, you're going to have to up it up. You're going to have to speed up a little bit your walk, maybe hold some weights or something, but you are going to maybe jog for like a minute or something in between, but you are going to have to try to get your heart rate up, because you are doing stuff, but you're kind of limiting the amount of benefit you'll get. And again, for weight loss, you got to double these numbers. All right? I hope you all had a good lesson, and reach out to me if you need help going through and figuring out what you're